there, it's Barb again at Stamping for Beginners and Beyond. And in a previous tutorial, I talked about alcohol ink markers. Those are your Copics and your Sharpies. Today, I'm going to talk about water-based markers, and they come in a lot of different brands, but today I'm going to be focusing on using the Tombow dual brush pens. And I will put a link in the description below. I bought these at Amazon and I think they were less than $20. I prefer alcohol markers, but I did want to show you the difference between the two. Now these are called dual brush because they do open on both sides. This side has a larger brush for coloring larger areas, and this side has a fine hard tip for coloring smaller areas. Now I want to show you the pros and cons of these, and I'm going to be using a flower set from Stampin' Up, and I think this one is discontinued, but it is one of my favorites. I also talked in another video about outline stamps, and that's kind of what these are here. These are your outline stamps that these are ones that could be used alone but would look much better colored in. So we're going to be using these, and I'm going to be using 3 different ones so you can see how coloring these works. Put that there. This is one of my favorite stamp sets because it has so much dimension in it. The sketch marks just really make it pop. Okay, so once you have your images stamped, I'm going to use the water-based markers today to show you how they will look. And I wanted to start with the orange. You can certainly color in stamped images with the water-based markers. You can see that that is doing a really good job. One of the things that these water-based markers do have a tendency to do is to have an overlay of the ink. And I'm going to demonstrate over here. You can see that it's doing a really good job for coloring these in. This is a smaller image, but I wanted to just show you over here. If I were to be coloring a large, maybe even a background or a large stamp, it does a good job, but you can see the lines a little bit more. I'm going to do the yellow. The darker the color, the more that that's going to happen. The yellow you could probably get away with not seeing the lines as much, but you still can a little bit. Also, I have found that if you color a lot with these, the paper can get a little bit torn up, and you have to watch that doesn't happen. Now I'll show you over here how easy it is to color these small ones in. And then if you wanted to go in with in fact, let's do red in the middle of these. If you wanted to go right in there and make sure that it wasn't getting too much ink in that middle part, you can use the smaller end of these too. Now, as you can see, the darker the color it is, the more it hides the stamped image. So you want to keep that in mind when you're using these markers. I wanted to just show you here the orange. You can see that it has a lot smoother feel to it, and it's not exactly the same color, but when you go back over the orange with the alcohol marker, it's still, at first you can see the streaks, but it has a smoother overall finish to it. You can see that one has a lot of like streaks in it, and that one's more of a solid surface finish. And I really like that look, but like I said in my other video, these are more expensive, and they do come in the cheaper Sharpies, but there again, you have to watch your colors on the Sharpies. This is a pretty dark color, and Sharpies do have a tendency to be on the darker side. And if you were to color in, let me just flip this around. And if you were to color in this flower it just doesn't look quite as good as the one that's lighter. So you do have to watch that. So again, even though this video is about the water-based markers, I did want to do a quick comparison. And this is something I think you can see really well. See how those are streaked and those are more solid. These are your alcohol markers and these are your water-based markers. Now, I wanted to show you one thing that water-based markers can do that alcohol markers can't. And that is color directly on a stamp. For some reason, alcohol markers tend to dry up very quickly, and you really can't color a stamp and then press it onto paper because it might transfer a little bit, but it dries so quickly that it's not a very good way to get an image. So I wanted to use these markers here and show you what you can do with these that you can't do with the others. These are the water-based again. And if you have a stamp that has images that need to be colored differently, you can go right in with your marker and get right up to, in this case, the berries. And I'm using a stamping platform for this. You don't have to have a stamping platform, but if the image doesn't come out well the first time, it's virtually impossible to stamp it a second time exactly in the same spot. And I am going to be doing a tutorial on stamping platforms. Okay, so I've got the green, and I'm going to grab, I don't have a red marker right here, so just for the sake of this video, I'm going to do these berries in orange. And you can see where I can get right in there in a very detailed way and color these berries in orange. And then I'm going to go back one more time and just go over the green to moisten that again. Some people actually huff on their stamps or breathe on them to keep that moisture on there, but I won't do that for this video. Whoop. And that image is on there. Now, you can see it's not very strong, and that's where your stamping platform comes in, because you can just easily go over and do it 2 or 3 times to get the quality image that you're looking for. So I also shared how you can do these with memento markers as well. Let's see. Okay. Now that was pretty quick, so I'm just going to do that a second time without going back over the green. And as you can see, these are coming out kind of nicely. That's one thing that you can do with these water-based markers. Like I said, if you did that with the alcohol marker, most of the ink would be dry by the time you flipped that stamp over. So these are the markers that I am using just for this video. I don't use them a whole lot, so I didn't want to buy a lot of them. But again, I wanted to tell you the difference. These are the Tombow dual brush pens. They do have a lot of different other brands, so I'm not promoting one brand or over another, but I did want to show you what water-based markers are and what they can and can't do. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you feel so inclined, please like and subscribe. Thanks again.